Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tori and today we are unboxing the June 2024 Archer and Olive subscription box, the quarterly subscription box. As of right now, this one is actually still available, so I will have it linked down in the description box below if you are interested in checking it out. This is the Desk Aesthetic box. There is quite a few things in here, and this box was actually quite heavy, so I'm really excited to get everything opened up and share what I've got with you. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to pull this notebook here with the lines on it, and I did not take off any of the plastic wrapping, so I am going to be doing that throughout this unboxing. But once we get that done, we will go over the specific kind of information for each item as well. I will be showing the back of the boxes for all of the details for the item. So this first thing that I'm opening here is actually going to be a B5 notebook. And this is 112, 160 GSM pages. And this is actually less pages than what is usually in a B5 notebook. So this is a nice little change. For me specifically, I do quite like this because I don't really use a lot of B5 notebooks, and wasting pages in B5 when I do use it is a little bit overwhelming to me. So the less pages will make it more likely for me to use the whole thing. So this cover is so nice feeling. I don't even know how to describe it, but it felt beautiful. And I love the little icon here. And then there's also like a little measurement style design along the edge of the notebook and on the spine. It is white dot grid paper. And then on the inside cover, there's actually like a colored design, which I think might also be something new for Archer and Olive. So yeah, I really like the way this one is, and I'm super excited that there's a little bit less pages. I think the 112 pages is what's normally in like the B6s, which is what I normally use for my regular bullet journals, and it works quite nicely for me. So I'm really excited for this one. I'm going to kind of remove everything from my desk setup just so I don't get overwhelmed with having so many things, and then we'll kind of open things one by one. This next item, first and foremost, I love this box. I'm 100% going to be keeping it. I don't know what I'm going to put in it yet, but I am obsessed with the graph design or the grid design on this box. I love it. This is going to be another notebook. This is going to be a A5 192 pages notebook with 160 GSM paper. Here I am just kind of admiring that graph on the box again. And this is called the Soft Composition Notebook. So I'm really excited to see this one. I think this is the notebook that was a little bit of a sneak peek before everything went out, if I'm not mistaken. But it is going to be a very light composition style notebook, and I love it. I love this color. It's very muted. And we know how I feel about muted colors, you know, I love them. I really like the spine design on this one as well. It's like a little like greenery type gold doodle, I guess you could say. And then it also has a little composition notebook thing. I personally would probably never write in that, but you know, the inside image is a kind of not a staple, a paper clip. And then this book belongs to is actually quite different from what we've seen from Archer and Olive before as well. This one is once again white dot gridded pages, and this one is another favorite. I think this is going to be a notebook that I'm going to have to talk myself into using. I really think that Archer and Olive should add these composition style notebooks maybe to their everyday collection. They're very timeless, I feel like. They're very timeless. I feel like composition notebooks have been around forever. So I think it would be a good idea for them to do that. The next thing that we're going to open here is going to be the sticker set. I'm going to pull out my scissors to kind of get this flap out of here because I always rip the stickers whenever I'm trying to pull this little flap out of like the closure. So I will do that and then get those stickers pulled out. We will have 4 sticker sheets of 2 different sets of stickers here. I'm admiring just the packaging. I love the packaging for this box. So like I said, 4 sheets of 2 designs. The first one is going to be, I think I'm going to share this one first. Yes. So the monthly, the full year, this is kind of like a pixel, like a year in pixels type of thing. And then it also has a bunch of little boxes that you could use for habit trackers. The next one has a couple of decorative stickers as well as some mood trackers. And I love tracking my moods, so I will definitely get use out of those. And these 3 down at the bottom, I think are my favorite. Of all of the stickers on these 2 sticker sheets, these 3 designs, these decorative kind of rectangles with the graph or the grid, I think these ones are my favorite. Let me know down in the description box below what your favorite sticker design is for these stickers. I do like that these are quite functional as opposed to being purely decorative this time around. So I'm really excited to get some use out of those. Then our next item is going to be a B5 planning stencil, which is a ruler and a stencil in one. We have gotten one of these in a subscription box before, but it was for an A5 journal, and I believe that they brought that stencil to the everyday collection as well, but only for the A5 size. So I'm hoping this means that this will be an item that is brought to the everyday collection for the B5 size. They've removed the notches, which is I don't even know how to put the gratefulness that I have for that in words. I'm trying to show you here the notches that are in the A5 one that I have. This is the same A5 stencil that I got in the original subscription box that it came from. So this is like the original one. I think it's been updated a little bit since this release to have the counts on the outside of the boxes as well. You can also see that on mine, the numbers are a little bit less noticeable, whereas on the new B5 one, the numbers are a little bit thicker. So yeah, I'm really liking this B5 size. I like all of the different shapes that are inside it, and that we also have like the rounded edges as well. I love a rounded edge, so I'm really excited that we have some that we can use in this stencil. Thumbs up because I love it. And I'm glad that they removed those notches because I always accidentally use that size of my A5 ruler and just completely mess things up. The next item that we have here is the Memo Pad. I struggled a little bit getting this one open because there wasn't any specific flap or any place I could have scored with my scissors. So it'll take me a minute to get this one open, unfortunately. But I was really excited once I did get everything out of the box here. So here is the little Memo Pad. It's got an adorable little push pin icon on the front. And on the inside, it's got some lined paper, and on the back of the lined paper is a graph or grid paper as well. Personally, I will probably never use the lined portion of this Memo Pad because the lines are too big. You can't really see on my camera the grid too well, but the grids look like they might be a little bit less than 5mm, like just a touch, maybe like a 4mm grid, but they're precious. I love the grid. I personally don't like wide ruled lines. I like the more thinner or college ruled lines, so that is why I probably won't use the line portion, but I will definitely use that grid half of the paper. So the next thing that we're going to pull out here is going to be the washi tape and the dual tip pens. The washi tape this time around is a mixture of like functional washi tapes and decorative washi tapes. This first one is a timeline washi tape, and I believe it's about 1 centimeter between each like time slot there. So in your journal, it would be 2 dot grid spaces. The next one here is a little centimeter measuring tape, which I think is super cute. It mixes a little bit too well with the background that I have here, but I'll also place this in a dot grid paper at the end as well. This is the more decorative washi. It's got a little bit of gold foiling and then some kind of stationery or desk items that you would normally have on your desk on it. This one is super cute as well. I really like this one. And then the gold foiling is on some of those little greenery pieces that are on the washi tape. And then the very last one that we have here is going to be a like checkbox washi tape. And I believe that this should fit almost perfectly, but not like 100% perfectly within the dot grid spaces of the bullet journals. And I will, like I said, place some of these on a piece of paper as well to kind of really test them out. The next thing that we're going to look at here are the dual tip pens, which is a chisel tip, kind of like a highlighter, and a fine liner tip. And I believe that the fine liner tip on this one has a plastic nib, which I really like. I'm going to go ahead and just put the names of these on each color because when you pull them out of the box, they are lined up perfectly with how they're listed on the back of the box. And I always tend to mix my markers around, so I find it easier just to put these little name stickers on right away. So we have eucalyptus, new gray, barely pink, which is the one that I am adding right now. And then the next one is going to be green tea and then salted sea. I really, really like all of the colors that are included with this subscription box, and I'm super interested in how often I will pull for these chisel tipped markers. I think I might end up personally using the fine liner portion of them a little bit more because I don't often find myself gravitating towards a chisel tip whenever I am doing my crafting. But who knows, maybe I will be more interested now that I've got these beautiful colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you each of them with the little stickers added and some close-ups of the tips. I'm also going to swatch these out because I don't feel like, in most cases, I don't feel like the tips are as accurate of a color as what you would see on paper. So I'm going to grab my notebook and make some little swatches of each of these as well. So I've already mixed my colors up. So we're starting with barely pink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 lines overlapping each other, but at different points here. So I've got 2 dot grids that just show 1 stroke, 2 dot grids that show 2 strokes, and then 2 dot grids that show 3 strokes. I don't know based on these particular swatches that I would ever do 3 strokes of these kind of highlighter markers. Because it does get a little bit blotchy looking on that third pass over. And here I'm just doing a little bit of a close-up of each of these tips. So this is the chisel tip and the other tip was the plastic nib or the fine liner tip. Next, we will be grabbing the salted sea color, and I'm going to be doing the exact same where I go over it 3 times. And like I said, for all of these, it did seem to feel a little bit blotchy when it comes to that third passover. But since I started it with that third passover, I'm going to do it on all 3 of them. I really, really like the fine liner tips of all of these. And I like that it's more of a plastic nib on these particular ones because I do tend to push fairly hard whenever I am writing. So I think that this will be super helpful for me as an individual to not destroy a kind of felt tip pen. This color that I just did was new gray. And then we will be moving into, I believe, the eucalyptus color, which I messed up, so I'm just gonna move right down to the next line and I'm going to do a better go over of that color as well. And then the last color that we have should be green tea, I believe, which is a more green, like kind of like an olive green, I think, which I love, but once again, I think you can see right here on the actual tip of it, I don't think it looks anything like the actual tip. I also did kind of just rub my finger over it after I finished drawing, and it definitely smeared. So this one, if you're doing multiple layers, you'll want to give it some time to fully dry before touching it or placing a ruler over it or something like that, because it will smear. So I'm going to pull up the washi tape here, and I'm going to add some of these pieces just to my actual notebook so that we can see how they look specifically on a kind of, well, not kind of, but so we can see how they look on an actual dot grid space. So I'm going to start with the kind of measuring tape one, and I'm going to place that against the dots to see how it is lining up. And this one lines up perfectly. So it's 1 full centimeter across for each kind of measurement. And then the same goes for the time slot. That one is going to be 1 full centimeter across as well. For the boxed washi tape, I wanted to test a couple of things for this one. I wanted to see how it laid within the dot grid spaces, but I also wanted to see how well you could actually check these boxes off, because the whole purpose of a checkbox is to use it as a checkbox, right? So I am going to grab 3 pens, my favorite Energel pen, a Muji gel pen, and a Micron. I'm going to do an initial swipe with my finger immediately after I do an X in each of these boxes for all 3 pens. And I'm going to wait then another 10 seconds for a second X that I'm adding. And I will say the only one that didn't smear after the 10 seconds was the Muji gel pen, which I found surprising. I really thought it was going to be the Pigma Micron, but it wasn't. So I'll do a little bit of a close-up here so you can see all 3 of them definitely smudged. So yeah, my Energel pen didn't do too bad. So I'm going to leave it, like I said, for another 10-ish seconds. I'm counting here on my fingers to 10 because I can count a little bit too fast sometimes. And then I'm going to wipe over it again just to see how that second pass through goes. Here I am looking at it, but you can see a little bit of a close-up of the other tapes. And you can see that the only one that actually kind of didn't smear after that 10 seconds was the Muji gel pen. So you can test it with some of your other pens, but these were just the 3 that I had handy the easiest. So yeah, that's what I found when it came to that particular washi tape. And then I'm just going to add the decorative tape here just to add the decorative tape. The last item that we have from the subscription box is going to be this journal case. So I'm really excited to see this. I love when Archer and Olive includes journal cases and journal covers in the subscription box. I have gotten quite a few. I've been signed up as a subscriber for probably too long, honestly. So I've got quite a few journal cases and covers from them. So I'm always excited to see what new ones they come out with, especially since the subscription box usually includes things that they're wanting to try and see everybody's feedback and thoughts and if there's lots of interest in it. So this particular journal cover is beautiful. I love it. But it does not match the subscription box essentially at all. So, and I've heard other people speak about this as well, that the whole subscription box is kind of things that you would find on your desk. You don't normally find florals and greenery like this on your desk, but I can also view this from the perspective that you would want this to be more of a timeless piece, because as soon as you run out of all of those other items, it wouldn't match anyways, because you wouldn't have those same items to be using in it. So that's kind of where my mind went. I wanted to see how my actual B6 journal fit inside here. Obviously it would fit, but I wanted to see really how it would work and if it would fit if I put it sideways, which it does not. So I normally use a B6 journal for my regular planning and bullet journaling. So I was interested to see how that would fit. I'm also going to pull out the A5 journal as well, because this is an A5 journal case, and see really how everything fits in. I'm going to pull out a lot of the items that we just unboxed and kind of get these in here. I'm pulling out all of the dual tip markers. I keep wanting to call them brush pens, but they're not brush pens. And I wanted to really see if these markers would fit if we actually put washi tape on this washi tape holder, which unfortunately I struggled with. I had a very hard time getting these to sit. They were stuck. You couldn't fit the markers behind the washi tape. And if you have some of these thicker rolls of washi tape in there, they don't lay flat at all. So this was a struggle for me. And you can see on here, it does look like it's kind of stuck in that position. And I even went so far as to place all 4 rolls in there, and it was not good. So I'm going to put this A5 notebook in here. It fits nicely. I put the stickers behind it. I'm not a type of person that likes to have my journal like attached. If I were to be using a case like this, especially a zipper one, I would just set my journal inside of it, because I don't like to use my journal while it's in a case. I like to pull it out and use it. So this type of case is perfect for me, because it zips up to secure everything, but then when I open it, I can just pop my journal out very easily. So I'm trying to add all 4 pieces, or all 4 washi tapes here, or decorative tapes, and they don't fit very well. I'm going to end up pulling all of those out. The only one that I could really get to fit nicely was the super thin washi tape. I'm also going to try and shut this. I popped it open trying to see if it would be movable with those washi tapes in there, and it's really not. It's honestly too snug of a fit. I'm not one that carries a ton of washi tape around with me, so this won't be a deal breaker for me on using this case, but it was a little too much. So like, you can't even zip this up if you've got full rolls of washi tape in here. So I'm going to take all of this out. And I just left the grid one, because that one, being that it's a thinner washi tape, would fully lay on its side. So I'm going to put that one in there, and then have my markers placed around it so that everything fits nicely. And then everything should shut fine now that I've got those bulkier washi tapes out. And it does look quite nice, but if you were wanting to include washi tape in that, it would be a little bit of a struggle, I think. I don't really think that washi tape portion is conducive to doing it, unless I'm missing something. If you think that I should have done something differently, let me know down in the comments below. There is still a little bit of room here. You could see that I was able to squeeze it and have some like kind of air in there, some extra space to add some additional things. But this is what I've got here. I personally really like this case. I really like the design, and that it wasn't stationery themed, because I am more drawn towards the florals and the greenery. But that's all I have for this unboxing. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!